Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm colouring up this image by Nicholas Filbert out of the book Fantasia. I hope you enjoy it. I'm calling it Zeus today, so let's pop in and have a look. Hi guys, I've printed out this image onto some Express blending card and cut it out in a square shape. I didn't want to do it in the book because I didn't want this to go through onto the other image on the back. So yeah, I just decided that I'd do a man. I haven't done any men, I don't think, yet, so this will be the first one, and I think he's Zeus, because I think Zeus can turn into an eagle, and you know, he's got lightning and stuff there as well, so yeah, pretty cool. So I'm just going to come in and do the skin first. I'm just going to do a layer of E000 first, just to lay down that base layer on all of the skin. So it was really nice to do this skin. There's some veins and things that aren't usually in women's skin, so it was nice to be able to sort of do a little bit of different technique on those sorts of things, and have them stand out as well. So yeah, this is just a quick one, not too hard, just quick techniques, and the background's quite simple but it still looks effective as well. So I did do a quick flip through of this book, so I will put a little info thing with the link to that in the video as well, so you should see that pop up on the screen at the top. Also too, I'll put in the description below all of the social media links, Facebook groups and Instagram, things like that as well, and my blog. Also too, I'll put some Patreon links in there as well. So with Patreon, I have done some color conversion charts from marker to pencils as well, so you'll be able to access them at the lowest patron level. And also I will be doing some other techniques for $5 patrons to show some backgrounds and things as well. So that's on my Patreon, so you can check that out in the links below as well. So yeah, just still filling out all of the base layer here. So I'm actually going over all of the skin now, not just the face. So I'm doing the arms and the body as well. You can see that I've just left the areas where the tattoos will be, so I haven't gone over those. Okay, so we're going to start by creating some shadows on the skin. So where there are any veins and things like that, I'm going to be putting this on the outside of those areas to make those veins look like they're popping out as well. So just coming in now and marking out all of the shadow areas, anywhere where there's something laying on the skin, and also wherever the image already had a shadow area. So these are kind of partly grayscale images, so some of the shading has been already done, so I'm going to make sure I go over that as well. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to come over the top of that with some E11, and I'm just going to blend this a little bit further out. So just going over the top of that previous colour and making this a little bit wider than what I'd previously done. So we're trying to bring this further out into the white sections of the paper, so that we're slowly creating our highlight section at the end. So we're creating shadows out towards the highlight. So we're slowly filling in those areas now. I've got E21 and I'm doing exactly the same thing. So we've only got two more colours, which is one is a highlight colour after this, and also the next colour, the next lightest colour from here down. So we are leaving less white areas now. So we're almost filling in most of the area, just making sure we leave enough room for those last two colours. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with some E00 and I'm just going to go over the top of the previous colour, and now we're only leaving the highlighted section we want last. So we're pretty much covering all of the skin now, just leaving that last little sections for the brightest or lightest highlight colour. Okay, so I've just got the highlight color now, which is E000 again, and we're just coming over the top of all of the area now. So we're trying to smooth off the areas between to make sure that they're blended nicely, and just going over the top of everything. So that color has really desaturated those shadow areas. So we want to make sure they're nice and deep and dark. So I'm going to come back in with my shadow color. So I've got E04, and I'm just going to really deepen up those shadow areas now with that. So let's soften off that again now with the E11. So we're really just doing a second layer. So we're just making that nice and soft now so that it just doesn't look like such a defined line between the two colours. Okay, so now we're going to swap back over to the E21 again and just go over the top of that again. So it's looking nice and deep now in the shadow areas, so we haven't desaturated the color as much being the second layer. It's a little bit easier to blend so we don't have to go over and over it so many times, and then you can start to see the depth and the highlights grow from that. Okay, so I've just swapped again now to the E00, and just going over the top of the E21 now. So we're pretty much covering all of the skin areas again, just leaving the main highlighted sections. So we've gone over that now with 2 layers. If you find that it needs to go a little deeper and you are using good quality paper, you can go in for an extra color in if you'd like to do that. Sometimes I will do that, and just doing the middle 2 colors, so E11 and E21, can sometimes just deepen up those areas a bit more if you're looking for a slightly more depth there. So just finishing off now with that E00, and then we're going to go over finally with the E000. So I've got that E000 now, and I'm just going over the entire area. So I've just got R20 and I'm just putting that on the fingernails. Okay, so I'm just grabbing my white Caran d'Ache pencil. I just want to make those veins sort of look a little bit more raised. So I'm just going to make them a little bit more white. So just putting a little bit more highlight on there to create a lift on them. Okay, so I'm going to do all of the gold areas now. So I've done gold techniques before in other videos. I'm just using 3 colors to do the gold technique. I've got E47 to do the darker side and the shadow area of them. So some of these areas are already marked out, as I said earlier, because it's kind of a little bit grayscale. So I'm just going over the top of those areas and putting in a little bit of a reflection shadow on as well. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm going to do the cuffs and also his belt in the gold. So now I've marked that out. I'm just going to blend them out with some YR23. So just making these a little bit larger and creating a highlight in the middle of each of these sections. Okay, so just finishing off that YR23, I'm going to come over it with some Y15 now and just fill out all of the highlighted sections. You can leave a little bit of white there if you'd like a little bit more of a shine. I'm just going to fill that in with a white pencil or white gel pen after. So we're just going to whiten up these areas with that Prismacolor, but I think the actual gel pen does look a little bit better, so I've done a little bit of both just to show you what you can do with it. So I wanted to give him some white sort of glowing eyes, so I'm using some white gouache on a brush, and I'm just going to sort of dab this onto the eye and put sort of a misty sort of effect around there as well. So I'm just going to pop that in now. Just use that wet brush to dab around the eye to create a little bit of a misty effect there. So just had it nice and damp and just sort of smudging it and dotting it over the top of the white gouache that was already there, or gouache, sorry, and I'm just sort of spreading that out a little bit to make it look misty. Okay, so I kind of wanted to create some blonde or yellow blonde hair, so I'm using E55 as my shadow color for all of the beard and the hair. So I'm just going to go into where I think all of the shadows will be with this color, so it does cover up a fair bit because it's a fairly small image, but yeah, just bringing that into those shadow areas. So I'm just extending that color further out with Y11. So as I said, it's kind of a yellowy blonde color, but I wanted really light colors through the hair. So I'm just extending this further out towards the middle sections of each part of the hair there, and I'm going to fill out the rest of the area with some Y000. Okay, so almost done there. You may want to come back in with that E55 to deepen up those shadow areas if you like. Okay, so I've got some Y000 now, and I'm just going to finish off the rest of the highlight section now. Okay, so I'm just doing the same steps I did on the cuffs on the belt as well. So I've got YR23 and I'm just finishing off the belt. And just swapped over to Y15 to finish that off. I'm going to make sure I put in some white pencil and white gel pen in the middle sections there just to create those little highlight shines. So I'm going to do the robe blue, so I'm going to use some B06 first to do all of the shadow areas of the robe. I'm going to blend that out with the next lightest colour in a moment. So I'm going to be using some B05 and I'm just going to go over the previous colour and extend it further out towards the highlight. Okay, so I've just swapped it out for B04 and I'm just going a little bit further in. So I'm just leaving a slight little gap now of white, which I'm going to go in with some B02 and fill the rest of that out. So you can see how I've created the shadow and highlight sections there by coming in a little bit further each time. And now finishing off the robes with B02, so just going over the whole area now, including that white highlight that was left. Just using a white pencil to maintain that really nice bright highlight there. So I'm just working on the wings here. I wanted them to have a bit of depth in them, but also I wanted them to sort of be almost white, or mainly white through there. So I'm just coming in with some B04. So I'm starting off with a fairly light shadow colour, so that it can stay nice and light. So I'm just going to go around all of the shadows with this one. And I'm just going to create some little lines and flicks in towards the inside of the feather here. So I'm also using this as a shadow color where the feathers overlap each other as well. So I'm making sure I put it under there as well. So I just missed some of the hair there, so I'm just sort of filling that out now with the Y000. Okay, so I've now got B02. I just put it just short of the camera there, but it's B02, and I'm just coming over the top of the previous colour in the wings and extending this further out. So I'll also do the same with the flicks inside the feather as well. I'll put a few more in and just extend those further in. So I'm going to put some purple through the wings. I'm using V12 to do that with. So just going in and flicking out towards the white sections from the blue areas out. So I want to just go a little bit lighter. So I've got V01 and I'm doing exactly the same thing. So I'm trying to sort of get that really pale look through there without it actually being white. So I've just grabbed the B 000. I thought that it was light enough, but I just wanted to put a little bit more blue through there. So I've just put some B 000 over the whole area. So I've just sort of roughly put this over all of the winged areas. I haven't used any flicking motions or anything like that. I'm just sort of putting a coating or a layer over all of everything that I've done. So these tattoos, I could have gone either way. I could go really dark and just do them black. I've decided to just do them nice and light. So I've just got some V12 and I'm just coming in and just putting in the shadow areas first. So they're already marked out. So I've just gone over the top of the black areas that were marked out and just added this in there. I've just got some V01 and I'm just going over the top of the previous colour and extending this a little bit further out towards the edges of each of the tattoo areas. And just blending that out now with V000, so just going over the entire area and filling out the rest of the tattoo areas. So I'm just going to do these stone pillars on the side here. I'm going to use some warm grey, so I've got W7. I'm going to extend that out from W7 to W5 and then W3 at the end. So I'm just going over all of the shadow areas. So what's already been marked out, I'm just lining that area, and I'm also lining the cracks and things like that as well. And I'm just swapping out now for W5 and just going over the top of the previous colour. I'm leaving the last section for W3. So just refilling my W3 there, it was getting quite dry and I couldn't get some nice colour on there, so I've just refilled that now. Just swap back over to W3 now and finishing off the remainder of this area. So just doing a really quick background here, I'm just going into the cloud areas and putting in some V000 and I'm just randomly placing it in the clouds. I'm not worried about where or how rough it is because we're going to go out with another color and just blend into all of the white areas. So we're just sort of filling in the color with this one first, and then we're going to come over the top of that with another color. So now I'm just going to go around the white spaces that are left with some B000 just to fill in the remainder of the page there where I've left white. The only thing I haven't coloured over here is the lightning bolts, which I'm just going to do with a light yellow. Okay, so once I finish this blue, I'm actually going to go over the top of these areas now that I've done both the purple and the blue. I'm going to go over the top of the entire area with some RV000. So we're just putting in this colour over the top just to blend the two colours or melt the two colours together now. Now I hadn't touched the front clouds until now, so I'm now filling that RV000 in with this colour on the tops of each of these front clouds, which has sort of got the swirling ones in the front there as well. So I'm just going into the top areas of that now and filling those out. Then I'm going to fill in the opposite side with some Y000 and just blend this up towards that RV colour that we've just put in. So we're not sort of blending them together yet, we're just sort of doing a top and a bottom layer. Okay, I'm just going to use some Y02 for the lightning bolts. I'm going to use the colourless blender now just to melt in the bottom clouds, the two colours together, so the RV000 and the Y000. I want them melted in together, so I'm using the colourless blender just to smudge over the top of that to get them to sort of bleed in together. Just going to do the eagle there quickly. I've got Y08 and I'm just going to do the beak area here. And then I'm going to do the tip of the beak with a red colour, so YR07. And then we're going to fill out the body of the eagle with some browns, which I'm using E25, and I'm just doing some little flicking motions out from the beak area out towards the rest of the bird. So just using little lines and flicking that out, and also coming up from the top and flicking up towards the head. So I'm actually not trying to blend the next colour, I'm just going over the top of the browns and flicking the Y08 out towards the bottom of the bird and then coming back the other way as well. And then coming over the top of that with Y15. So I wanted to sort of give it a bit of a gold look. So I'm just coming in with the white gel pen and putting in all the white highlight areas. And as I was doing this, I didn't think that the background was actually quite dark enough. So I had come in with some more colours just to deepen up the area around him and give it a little bit more depth. So I'm just finishing off the highlights for now. So I just missed the recording here for a bit of the background there. So I did use some Y04 to come in and start from Zeus and move outwards. And then I've gone over that with some Y13 a little bit further. So I'm now going to blend that out a little bit further again with some Y11. So I was hoping to sort of give it a little bit more of a dramatic effect and to make him stand out a little bit more off from the background. So now I've got that Y000, and I'm going to come out and just sort of blend that in now to the rest of the background. So kind of just smoothing that off a little bit so it's not quite as defined and it looks like it's blended out around him. And now I'm just going to come in with some YR000 and just add a little bit of that yellow red through there as well. So I'm starting from the very edge and just sort of extending and flicking this out. And my marker sort of flicked on the side there just so it's nice and soft. So still not quite as dark as I wanted it to be in some areas. I've come in with Y00 to do that. So just adjust your markers to what you feel is right. I just wanted a little bit more shadow in some areas, so I've used that colour in those areas. So because these colours are quite soft, it does allow you to be able to build up the colour gradually from the lighter to darker colour. So I'm just going to put some more RV000 back into it to help blend with the rest of the background there as well. So just swap down again for the RV000. So I'm trying to get this section here to blend in nicely with the remainder of the background as well. So guys, that's it. Coming up to the end now, so just finishing off with this pink. You could use a little bit of the colourless blender just to get that to go through smoothly, but once it does dry out, you can't see the streaks through it, so don't stress too much. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and you will get notifications when I upload new videos. Come along and join our Facebook group. We do have the top 10 now, so it'd be great to see some of your colouring in there, and they may get up on the top 10. So I will catch up with you all soon. Thanks, guys.